Stand up. Green card.
We've had a lot of delays in getting some of these events off this afternoon, Dwight.
And they are finally off. 24 athletes, 25 laps. We'll show you the competitors there on your screen. Conditions continue to improve for distance runners. It was a high of 73 degrees earlier today when we began. Current temperature is still 70 degrees, but virtually no wind, which is certainly helpful for these athletes.
Grace Hartman from NC State going up front early on, and in talking just earlier today with her coach, Lori Hennes, she said looking at Grace's progression, her growth has just been incredible. She showed up on campus day one with the goal of being All-American, and not in an overly confident type of way. It was just the belief that she had in her investment in putting in the work to get there. Really loves training and loves racing. And you can see she settled in nicely with Peyton Noe of Arkansas in tow. She also has Pamela Kosgei, easy to identify with that turquoise of New Mexico. Also keep your eyes on the athlete who is currently right around 5th position. That is Diana Chirotich, the freshman from the University of Oregon.
.71.8 for the opening 400 meters. Kosgei there in 4th position. Hartman checking her watch in the leader. Peyton Noe there from Arkansas in lane number 3, or position number 3. So they are spreading out pretty evenly. All right, a huge victory for Peyton Bear of Mississippi State in the decathlon as we return to the 10,000 meters. Grace Hartman still leading.
And if you watch, Grace Hartman has been very intentionally clicking off those laps as she comes through each and every 400 meters. They went through the 1K at 3:04. They've settled in right around 75-second 400s to this point. And looking back at Grace Hartman during the indoor season at the National Championship indoor meet, where she was 5th in the 3K, 6th in the 5K, she was actually battling through some illness. She was sick during that championship, now has gotten herself healthy. Doing a great job of taking command of this race. Coach Lori Hennes says that there have been a handful of times, just because of how much Grace Hartman loves to train and put everything into it and loves to race, she's actually had to pull back the reins a little bit, and that's something that they've learned in time and been able to coach into Grace Hartman, is that sometimes the best way is to have that next jump and that next step that you want to find in your progression is just to take that intentional rest and know how to recover between those races. She looks incredibly relaxed there up front. She really has a lot of great tools in her toolbox. It's not only the strength and endurance that she has, she also has good foot speed. Pamela Kosgei is in threatening position right now, very comfortable to sit behind Grace Hartman.
Hartman, Kosgei, Chep Kamoy, and Chirotich for Oregon, and Peyton Noe of Arkansas in about 6th place. So we will step aside, and when we come back, we will pick up with our coverage of this 10,000 meter final. A lot of heart attack over there in that pole vault with the Mole sisters, but they pulled it out. 16 points for UW in the pole vault. As not a lot has changed since we went away from the 10,000. Grace Hartman still clicking her watch every 200 meters and leading this 10,000 meter final. Pamela Kosgei not challenging at all, happy to sit right where she is.
that metronome-like pace. They've just been right around 75.5, 76 seconds. It was 9:21 through 3,000 meters, so that would be a meet record. That meet record was set just last year by Parker Valby from Florida.
Diana Chirotich is there on the rail for Oregon. Peyton Noe of Arkansas there in 5th. And that is Chloe Scrimgeour of Georgetown in 4th.
Among those here supporting Grace Hartman, cheering her on, Caitlin Toohey is in the crowd. And Hartman was 8th in this event just last year, and in talking about the strategy that she came into this event with, knowing, you know, the talent of Pamela Kosgei and Diana Chirotich and Peyton Noe, her coach Lori Hennes said, you know, sometimes we can really overcoach them and force things. Sometimes what you need to do is just let people go with heart, knowing that they're well prepared. So she has empowered Grace Hartman to just manage whatever situation presents itself. She told her, go be proud of how you race. Run the race that you want to race outside of the results. Go run hard. This race should be really a celebration of where she is in her career. You can see she's glancing off to the side. Oftentimes, especially in the 10,000, that's where you will see some of the clusters of teammates or coaches position themselves to provide some cues, because it's a little quieter there on the backstretch near the Bowerman Tower. If you remember, that's where Parker Valby was looking to last year for some cues and commands from the Florida contingent.
So Grace Hartman has forged a pace that's about 30 seconds under Parker Valby's meet record from last year, and everyone's just happy for her to continue to do so. So not much changing here. We will step aside again and pick this race back up on the other side when we return to Eugene. We get now back to the 10,000 meters, 15:38 at the 5K, which is well under the meet record of 31:46 if they keep up this pace. And Grace Hartman has been doing a great job pacing this group. Pamela Kosgei has been right behind her the entire time, with Diana Chirotich, the freshman from Oregon, in 3rd.
I love that Hartman has forced this field to go honest. They are below the meet record pace set just last year. Pamela Kosgei has settled in just behind Hartman. And in this meet last year, Dwight, she wasn't competing, didn't compete in the outdoor season. Rather, she was sitting in the stands. They brought her here just to watch this meet, wanted her to see how this NCAA championship meet was run. So she watched what Parker Valby did, and that really fueled some perspective for her on what she wanted to do and what she would aspire to do at the University of New Mexico. Instead, she didn't race here at the NCAAs, but she did go on to race at the Portland Track Festival last summer, and she has just been on a tear ever since. She was the runner-up in the NCAA cross-country meet. That was her only loss of the cross-country season, when she finished behind Doris Lemon-Golay, as Diana Chirotich steps off the track right there around the 200-meter mark. You can see she's walking toward the back of the track, so she has stepped off. So unfortunate after the phenomenal outdoor season that she has had. Has had such an impact on the program since arriving here in April. Meanwhile, up front, you can see Kosgei starting to get a little bit antsy there up front, and she's been really impressive. When I talk about she's been on a tear this season, has one of the fastest all-time 10K performances, one of the fastest all-time 5,000 meter performances. She also ran a 9:15 steeplechase, Dwight. She won the conference meet in the steeplechase, and really what helped Darren Gosson decide what he would do with her this outdoor season was after she ran that fantastic 5,000 meter 14:52, finishing just ahead of BYU's Lexi Holiday Lowry. They had the indication that Holiday Lowry would focus on the steeplechase, kind of knew Lemon Golay would focus on steeplechase, so really decided to go all in on the 10,000, 5,000 meter double. So she ran that 31:58 just after that incredible 5,000. So just all around, every single event that she has been in this outdoor season, she has showcased just incredible fitness and incredible talent. Now, you can see they have separated themselves. It is Grace Hartman, it is Pamela Kosgei, and then there is a pack of three behind them. Peyton Noe of Arkansas, Chloe Scrimger of Georgetown.
And Joy Nocott of West Virginia. I'm more impressed with the 9:15 steeplechase, to be honest with you.
That's just her versatility. She had so many options with what she could do.
Okay, Pamela Kosgei now moving out to the shoulder of Grace Hartman. She's maybe decided, okay, I've had enough of this. Good pacing. Thanks, Grace. I got it from here.
And this is very similar to the move she made in the NCAA regional meet to get here. It was very decisive when she made the move to the front. She is one who makes bold moves in races. She doesn't like to just kind of create and, sneak up on someone and settle in. When she goes, she goes.
Well, she has definitely gone. She's been put 20 meters on Grace Hartman very quickly. Pamela Kosgei just downshifted, went up on Grace Hartman's shoulder, and waved goodbye. All right, we'll step aside for the final time and bring you the conclusion of this one-track final on Ladies' Day, the 10,000, when we come back. Back to the 10,000 meters with less than 5 laps remaining, and Pamela Kosgei, after making that move about 4 laps ago, you can see there Grace Hartman in the background. She really made the race. She is the one that established the pace well below the meet record, and she is solidly still in second place. But Pamela Kosgei, the freshman from New Mexico, has just taken off, and depending on how far or how hard she wants to push herself, the meet record is absolutely going to happen, and a collegiate record may still be on the table.
And you see that lead that Pamela Kosgei has built. That's because after running those really consecutive 76-second 400, she then went 72.8 for that split to get all that separation. Has settled in now to some 70-second quarters once again. But Grace Hartman has done a great job of continuing to stay in contact, not let that lead grow any more from what it is. And if you remember back to the NCAA Indoor Championship, Pamela Kosgei was third in the 5,000. She really positioned herself well, but then ended up 11th in the 3,000. That's because she took a tumble. She was right there up front in the thick of it in the 3,000, went down, and then so she had certainly a chip on her shoulder coming into the outdoor season after really putting herself well in the mix of it in the Indoor Championship, wanting to prove what she could do. She was runner-up in cross country to Doris Lemon Golay. So she has been so close so many times. She was going to leave nothing to chance in this championship, and Grace Hartman has done a great job of just maintaining her pace over the entire duration of this race as they come up on 4 laps to go for Grace Hartman, or 3 laps to go, excuse me. They hadn't switched the counter over yet because of some of the athletes who are on different lap counts. And now with 3 laps to go, for Grace Hartman, you almost need to use those athletes you're coming up on to lap. You need to use them as almost a rabbit of sorts to try to close a bit of the gap that Kosgei has built.
The collegiate record is probably off the table. She would have to run 65-second 400s for 3 laps, probably not in the offing, but she's on sub 31:20 pace, which would be a meet record by about 25 seconds.
She did close in 64 seconds at the regional meet. In that instance, it was Pamela Kosgei and Diana Chirodich who were separated with about 4 laps to go and used one another. They have done, New Mexico has a ton of work to build Pamela Kosgei's closing speed. A lot of 200s and a lot of 300s, you know, in addition to that great base that she has built, the foundation for the steeplechase, the 5,000 and the 10,000. This is where she loves to start to press in a race. You've got just over 800 meters to go. Although she has a commanding lead, Pamela Kosgei loves to dig deep when it hurts the most.
Coming down with 2 laps remaining.
Keep in mind, New Mexico men went 1-2 in the 10,000 yesterday, setting this up for what could be a sweep of the 10,000 meter titles for New Mexico in just the second season under Coach Darren Gosson. Also continuing to watch that meet record.
The meet record is a foregone conclusion unless she falls down. She's on sub 31:20 pace, and she'll be close to her lifetime best of 31:02.
And expected to come back to be one of the favorites for the 5,000 on Saturday.
Grace Hartman still holding down second place. Peyton Noe is back there in about 4th place.
And that pace has just never wavered from Grace Hartman. Pamela Kosgei just made that commanding, decisive move to go around her with about 7 laps or so to go.
Coming up on the bell. She's going to obliterate the meet record set by Parker Valby just a year ago of 31:46.09.
There is a great race happening for third right now. Peyton Noe of Arkansas has fought her way into third. Big for the point scoring implication. That's Chloe Scrimger of Georgetown. Peyton Noe is such a ferocious competitor. Let's see what she has left for the final 400 meters. It is all Pamela Kosgei up front.
Peyton Noe may have her sights set on trying to reel in Grace Hartman. That's about a 30-meter lead at this point, and Hartman has picked up the pace. But your winner and new meet record holder is going to be Pamela Kosgei, the freshman from New Mexico. 1-2 on the men's side, and now the winner of the title on the women's side in her debut at the NCAA championships. Sub 31:20 for a new meet record. Now, is there a race for second, or does Grace Hartman have it nailed down? She's got it nailed down. And Joy Nocott is going to end up third, with Peyton Noe 4th. .459 for Kosgei's final 1,600 meters. But Grace Hartman really made that race.
But how about just the gutsiness of Pamela Kosgei to break it open when she did and go for the meet record? She could have sat and kicked and waited until the final 1,200 meters or so, knowing the type of closing speed that she has. Think about it though, 1 year ago, she sat in the stands. She was not a competitor. She was watching as Parker Valby set the meet record and knew that she wanted to get back here and do it herself. What a dominant past year she has had. Pamela Kosgei, fueled by that cross-country runner-up performance, being there in the indoor national championship, taking third in the 5,000, and now earns that national title for the New Mexico sweep of the 10K.
5 runners under 32 minutes in the 10,000. That's never happened. And
so Grace Hartman faster than Parker Valby's record from last year as well. Wow, look at all of those.
yeah, the top 5 all under the former meet record in just 1 year.